Georgia, the theme tonight is transformation. Can you share with us an example of how you in your role or your organization are meeting the challenges of the future?
I can give you actually many examples, but if you insist by giving just one, I will say that for me the most important thing is, as we focus on transformation, it's all about courage. We are entering into a new era, in new uncharted territory. Nobody has figured it out. We do not know what business model is going to work, but we have to really apply active listening to what the patient's needs are. And if we know what the patient's needs are, then we will be able to figure out the business models. But between that point A to point C, we need to focus on point B. And what I mean by point B is that being fearless in trying the unknown and courageous. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's just trying something that it is very dangerous and knowing that you go there with a courageous heart.
I think the fundamental inhibitors to transformation in healthcare is the fragmentation of decision-making and accountabilities, as well as lack of collaboration. Everybody talks about Uber as the great example of industry transformation, and they want to bring in an Uber-like model to healthcare and every industry. But if you think about Uber, all decision-making is done centrally by the driver, and there's single payment, single decision-making. In healthcare, there's somebody manufactures, somebody distributes, somebody else gives it to the consumer, and somebody is responsible for payment. And there's a lack of collaboration between all these different groups. And there's too much fragmentation. And the second issue is really about the risk averseness of decision-making and approval process, because we are a highly regulated industry.
Dan, that construct of transformation after 35 years at leading BBK worldwide is an important one for us, because how do you keep moving and contributing to pushing the opportunity for the patient's voice to be part of the whole story? Now the industry has evolved, that we're seeing that much more often. What we're focusing on is what's the patient's experience. I think it was Ben tonight who said, you know, it's one thing if you have a good outcome, but if you or a good experience, but without both of those, you're not really moving forward in terms of healthcare and patient satisfaction and overall better health.
So one of the things that brings me here this evening is market access. And it's all about transformation in market access, how drugs are going to be paid for, how we're going to bring greater value to the system. I've actually just, ironically, you're asking the question today, I've just become the CEO of a really interesting healthcare startup that is seeking to transform the way pharma companies work with payers around creating value around market access, things like value-based agreements, different ways of contracting. So very much the dialogue that everybody's been having here around patient focus, payer focus, bringing more value to the system. And the idea that all of these verticals in healthcare, payer, provider, pharma, biotech, all need to work together and integrate better to create transformation. And that's what I'm focused on right now and over the next couple of years.
Yeah, Dan, thanks. In fact, ICON has just recently partnered with a company called Saama. And through that partnership, we are now exploring cutting-edge applications like artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and even automation, and leveraging such applications in transforming late-phase clinical research. In fact, I have my partner here, CEO of Saama, Suresh Katta, who can talk a little bit more about what we're doing.
What we have done is taken a big data analytics platform and turned that into a making sure that patients are recruited timely, and ability to get the right sites, and ability to take the real world data with the help of big data platform. What we are doing is converting unjoinables to be joinable and unlinkable to be linkable. When I say that, in the industry people were not able to connect different types of data sets before, and with our AI and like Ramita said, AI and ML and deep learning systems, we are able to do that.
Dan, that's an easy one. So my title at a small biotech is Chief Patient Officer. We're 6 months from going in the clinic. So really thinking about how do we have the patient voice at every single level early on, thinking about how does that impact what therapies we're picking, what are the needs, what are our endpoints early on. That to me is transformational.
So the way I look at it, transformation is not an event that occurs once or several times in your organization's life. It's really an ongoing process that happens, so you have to have that orientation all the way through. Particularly, as in my case, I started the company 20 years ago this month, and it has really changed and molted and become different things on a pretty regular basis over the 20 years. So if I looked at transformation as an event that I had to prepare for and then execute against, I think I would have the wrong orientation. Instead, I look at it as something that you always have to have that orientation, that things have to be changing, and you have to be flexible enough to see the next wave that's coming and adjust your weight on the surfboard, if you will, to make sure you catch that wave and you can ride it. So it's not one thing, it's a constant process, and if you're going to be successful, you have to always be kind of surfing that wave.
Exciting because transformation doesn't always have to happen in these giant leaps, right? It can happen in these tiny iterative moments where we give people the freedom to make good choices, to do something differently, to reach out to a partner they're not used to working with. And at Syneos Health, I know we're definitely doing that every day. We have a clinical organization and a commercial organization, and together we're helping feed insights from one to the next so that you end up with this wonderful continuum of development and decision making that actually changes the paradigm for our clients. It lets them know that you don't do anything in a vacuum. Everything is related. And so I think that's a value we deliver every single day to our clients. And it's not comprised of a giant leap forward moment. It's comprised of people every day making the choice to work together, to bring their expertise to the table, and to really change healthcare for our clients and for their customers.